Let's talk about something that's been holding you back for far too long. Being the nice girl. You know exactly what I mean. Always saying yes when you want to say no. Always putting others first even when your own needs are screaming for attention. Always playing small to keep everyone else comfortable. The moment you stop people-pleasing, others start respecting your time, energy, and boundaries. It sounds simple, but for so many of us, it's a difficult shift to make. We've been conditioned to believe that being liked is more important than being respected. From a young age, we're taught to be agreeable, to say yes even when we want to say no, to be accommodating at the expense of our own needs. We learn that saying no makes us difficult, and that standing up for ourselves makes us unkind. But here's the truth. Respect doesn't come from being endlessly available, agreeable, or self-sacrificing. It comes from having the courage to value yourself first. When you consistently put others ahead of yourself, you unintentionally send the message that your time and energy are less valuable than theirs. People start to assume you'll always be available, that you'll always say yes, that you'll never push back. And without realizing it, you become the person who gets taken for granted. Not necessarily because others are malicious or trying to use you, but because you've trained them to expect that you'll put their needs first. The only way to change this dynamic is to start setting boundaries and sticking to them. The first time you say no, it will feel uncomfortable. You'll worry about what people think. You might feel guilty, but something amazing happens when you push through that discomfort. People start paying attention. They start recognizing that your time is valuable, that your energy isn't unlimited, that your needs matter too. Some will adjust and respect your boundaries. Others might push back, testing to see if you'll revert to old habits. But the people who genuinely respect you will accept your limits without resentment. Respect isn't about being feared or demanding attention. It's about establishing a sense of self-worth so strong that others naturally respond to it. When you respect yourself, you teach people how to treat you. You no longer tolerate being overlooked, dismissed, or treated as an afterthought. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for having standards. You start walking into rooms with a quiet confidence that says, I know my worth. And when you carry yourself that way, people notice. You'll find that some people admire this shift while others may struggle with it. That's okay. The ones who truly belong in your life will respect you for standing your ground, and those who can't handle it were never meant to stay. The irony is that by stopping the habit of trying to make everyone happy, you become happier. You gain the energy, space, and confidence to build the life you actually want rather than the one that others expect of you. The moment you start valuing yourself, the world follows suit. And that's when everything changes. Saying no to what drains you means saying yes to what fuels you. This is one of the biggest mindset shifts you can make, and it changes everything. So many people walk around feeling exhausted, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. They're constantly overextended, constantly trying to keep up with the demands of others, constantly putting themselves last. And yet they wonder why they feel so depleted. The truth is, exhaustion isn't always about doing too much. It's about doing too much of the wrong things. Things that don't serve you, things that don't energize you, things that don't align with who you are or what you want. When you're the person who always says yes, people will keep asking, not because they mean to take advantage of you, but because you've made yourself available. If you never set boundaries, there's no reason for others to assume you have any. But every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to something that could be lifting you up. You're saying no to your own rest, your own priorities, your own passions. And over time, that takes a toll. It's why so many people feel like they're running on empty, like they're constantly busy, but never truly fulfilled. The shift happens when you start choosing differently. When you start recognizing that your energy is a limited resource and not everyone and everything deserves access to it. When you stop feeling guilty for putting yourself first, that's when your energy begins to return. At first, it feels strange. You might be so used to running on exhaustion that you don't even know what it's like to have energy for yourself. But then, as you set boundaries, as you say no to what doesn't serve you, as you prioritize yourself in a way you never have before, something changes. You start feeling lighter. You start waking up with more clarity, more purpose, more drive. And you realize that taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. The people who truly care about you won't be upset when you say no. The ones who love and respect you will understand. And the ones who don't, well, they were only in it for what they could get from you, not for who you really are. The right people will support your boundaries, not punish you for them. And more importantly, you'll start supporting yourself. You'll start trusting yourself to make choices that align with your well-being instead of sacrificing it. You'll stop feeling like you have to earn rest, like you have to justify why you need space. Because the truth is, you don't need permission to take care of yourself. You don't owe exhaustion to anyone. And the moment you stop spending your energy on what drains you, you'll finally have the time, space, and power to pour into what fuels you. That's where real fulfillment begins. When you stop worrying about pleasing everyone, you start believing in yourself more. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And one of the biggest confidence killers, constantly seeking approval. When your self-worth is tied to what others think, you live in a constant state of hesitation. You second-guess your choices, overanalyze your words, and shrink yourself to fit into the expectations of others. But the moment you let go of that need for validation, you unlock a level of confidence that changes everything. The truth is, no matter what you do, someone will always have an opinion. You could be the kindest, most thoughtful person in the room, and there will still be someone who finds a reason to criticize you. So why waste your energy trying to make everyone happy? The people who truly support you won't need you to bend over backward for their approval. They'll respect you for standing firm in who you are. And the more you stand in your own truth, the more you start to trust yourself. You stop looking to others for permission. You stop apologizing for having an opinion. You stop minimizing your voice just to avoid making waves. Confidence grows when you make decisions without fear of judgment. It strengthens when you say what you mean without worrying about how it will be received. And the irony? The more you believe in yourself, the more others believe in you too. People are naturally drawn to certainty. When you carry yourself with conviction, you command attention, not because you're trying to, but because confidence is magnetic. It's the energy that makes people listen when you speak. It's the force that makes others take you seriously. But it's not just about how others see you. It's about how you see yourself. When you stop people-pleasing, you start making choices based on what you truly want rather than what will keep the peace. You set boundaries without guilt. You take up space without feeling like you have to earn it. You realize that your voice matters, your opinions are valid, and your presence is enough. At first, it feels uncomfortable. You've spent years, maybe even decades, trying to be liked, and breaking that habit isn't easy. But as you start showing up differently, as you start saying no, as you start speaking up, as you start putting yourself first, you begin to feel a shift. You feel lighter, freer, more in control of your own life. And that's where true confidence comes from. Not from external validation, but from the deep, unshakable knowing that you are enough exactly as you are. The moment you stop worrying about whether people approve of you is the moment you start approving of yourself. And that kind of confidence, it changes everything. The right people will respect and celebrate the real you, not just the nice version of you. For years, you may have played the role of the agreeable, accommodating, always available person. You said yes when you wanted to say no. You tolerated behavior that made you uncomfortable. You put the needs of others before your own, believing that this was the key to maintaining strong relationships. But here's the truth. If you have to shrink yourself, silence yourself, or sacrifice your happiness to keep a relationship intact, it's not a real connection, it's a conditional one. When you stop being the nice girl and start being your authentic self, something powerful happens. You begin to see your relationships for what they truly are. The people who only valued you for your compliance will struggle with the change. They might push back, test your boundaries, or even try to make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. But those who genuinely care about you will adjust. They won't just accept the real you, they will appreciate and respect you even more for standing in your truth. Many people fear that setting boundaries and expressing their true feelings will push others away, but the reality is, the people who truly belong in your life won't leave just because you stop people-pleasing. Real relationships, whether friendships, family connections, or romantic partnerships, are built on mutual respect, not obligation. They thrive when both people can be honest, communicate openly, and show up as their full selves without fear of rejection. If someone's affection or approval is dependent on you always being agreeable, always saying yes, or always putting them first, that's not love or respect. It's control. As you start embracing your true self, your relationships might go through a period of adjustment. Some people will resist the new you because the old version was more convenient for them. You might lose certain connections, and that can feel uncomfortable, even painful. But what you gain is far more valuable. Genuine relationships with people who love and respect you for who you truly are. You'll notice that the friendships and partnerships that remain become stronger. They feel lighter, more balanced, and more fulfilling because they are based on honesty, not performance. There is incredible freedom in realizing that you don't have to perform for love. You don't have to be easygoing at the expense of your own happiness. You don't have to suppress your needs just to keep others comfortable. The people who truly care about you want to know the real you, not just the version that makes their life easier. And when you let go of the fear of disappointing others, you make space for relationships that actually nourish you. The moment you stop pretending and start being yourself, you stop attracting relationships that require you to be anything less than who you truly are. And that's when you find the connections that were meant for you all along. Protecting your time and energy isn't rude. It's a requirement for living on your terms. For far too long, you've been conditioned to believe that setting boundaries makes you selfish. You've been taught that saying no is rude, that prioritizing yourself is inconsiderate, and that good people always put others first. But the reality is, constantly saying yes to everything and everyone is the quickest way to drain yourself completely. You cannot be everything to everyone without losing yourself in the process. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about defining what is and isn't acceptable in your life. They are about protecting your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Without them, you end up feeling overextended, overwhelmed, and ultimately resentful. And that resentment, it doesn't just disappear. It builds up over time, creating frustration and burnout that seeps into every aspect of your life. But when you start setting boundaries, something shifts. You begin to take back control. You realize that you don't have to explain or justify every decision. You don't have to sacrifice your well-being just to keep the peace. You are allowed to say no without feeling guilty. At first, it feels uncomfortable. You may worry about disappointing people. You may fear their reactions. But those who respect and care about you will adjust. They will understand that your time and energy are valuable. The ones who push back, the ones who try to guilt trip or manipulate you into saying yes, those are the ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries the most. And their reaction is not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of their own expectations. The more you practice setting boundaries, the more natural it becomes. You stop apologizing for having limits. You stop feeling guilty for needing space. You start making decisions that align with your values and priorities instead of feeling pressured by external demands. You recognize that self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And when you protect your energy, you show up as a better version of yourself in every area of your life. Your relationships improve because they are no longer built on silent resentment. Your productivity increases because you are no longer spread too thin. Your confidence grows because you trust yourself to make choices that serve you. One of the most powerful things you can do is to understand that saying no doesn't make you mean, difficult, or selfish. It makes you clear about what you will and won't tolerate. It shows that you value yourself enough to protect your peace. And when you do that, you stop attracting people who expect you to overextend yourself. Instead, you start surrounding yourself with those who respect your boundaries and appreciate you for who you truly are. You don't owe anyone exhaustion. You don't have to prove your worth by overgiving. The moment you start setting boundaries is the moment you reclaim your power, your time, and your life. Stop waiting for approval. Your life belongs to you, not to the expectations of others. Too many people go through life waiting for permission to take a risk, permission to say no, permission to be themselves. But here's the truth. No one is coming to give you that permission. If you spend your life trying to meet everyone else's expectations, you will wake up one day wondering where all your time went and why you never did the things that truly mattered to you. You don't need approval to make a change. You don't need validation to take a step toward the life you want. The only person who gets to decide what's best for you is you. Yet, so many of us hesitate. We hold back because we fear judgment. We delay decisions because we don't want to disappoint anyone. We wait for the right time, for a sign, for someone to tell us it's okay. But waiting for permission is just another form of self-doubt. It's a way of avoiding discomfort, of keeping ourselves stuck in a place that feels safe but unfulfilling. Think about the moments in your life when you felt truly happy and fulfilled. They weren't the moments when you played it safe or followed the rules set by others. They were the moments when you took a chance, when you listened to yourself, when you made a choice based on what you truly wanted rather than what was expected of you. That feeling of freedom, of alignment, of being fully in control of your own life, that's what happens when you stop waiting for permission. People will always have opinions. No matter what you do, someone will question it. Some will think you're too bold, too selfish, too different. But their opinions don't pay your bills. Their opinions don't wake up in your body every morning. Their opinions don't live with the consequences of the choices you make. You do. So why let their voices be louder than your own? Taking control of your life doesn't mean you ignore advice or reject guidance. It means you trust yourself enough to know what's right for you. It means you stop looking for validation and start making decisions with confidence. It means you stop playing small to make others comfortable and start stepping fully into your potential. The people who truly support you won't require you to shrink yourself to fit into their idea of who you should be. They will encourage you to go after what you want, to stand in your power, to take the risks that scare you but excite you at the same time. You don't need anyone's approval to live the life you want. You don't need a perfect plan or a step-by-step guide from someone else. You just need to decide that you are done waiting. Your life is happening right now, and the only person who can take control of it is you. The moment you stop waiting for permission is the moment you truly start living. Being true to yourself is your superpower. For so long, many of us have tried to fit into molds that were never meant for us, shrinking parts of ourselves in order to meet the expectations of others. We've hidden our true desires, our real personalities, our unique qualities, because we thought it was easier to be what others wanted us to be. But the moment you stop pretending, stop playing small, and start embracing who you truly are, you unlock an incredible source of power. This is when everything changes. When you start being true to yourself, you stop wasting energy trying to meet everyone else's needs and expectations. You stop playing a role and start living authentically. It might feel vulnerable at first because authenticity requires you to be seen fully, without filters, without facades. But the reward is worth the discomfort. Because authenticity isn't just about being true to yourself, it's about stepping into your power and owning your space in this world. The more you allow yourself to be who you really are, the more your confidence grows. When you stop pretending to be something you're not, you no longer feel the need to apologize for your existence. You stop second-guessing yourself and wondering if people will accept the real you. Instead, you begin to understand that the right people, the ones who are meant to be in your life, will celebrate your authenticity. They'll appreciate your quirks, your strengths, and even your flaws because they won't be trying to fit you into a mold. They'll see you for who you truly are, and that's something far more valuable than any kind of approval. Being true to yourself also means that you begin to align your actions with your values. You stop saying yes when you really want to say no. You stop doing things just to please others. You stop sacrificing your happiness for the sake of fitting in. Instead, you make choices that reflect who you are at your core. This alignment between your actions and your values creates a sense of peace within you. It's a peace that comes from knowing you're not pretending or living a double life. You are exactly who you're meant to be, and your choices reflect that. Another incredible shift that happens when you embrace your authenticity is the way others perceive you. People are drawn to authenticity. There's something magnetic about someone who isn't afraid to stand in their truth, who isn't constantly trying to fit into society's narrow expectations. When you show up as your true self, you become a beacon for others who are also craving authenticity. You begin to attract people who appreciate you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be. Moreover, your energy shifts. When you stop pretending, you free up emotional space. You no longer have to carry the burden of pretending to be someone else. This newfound freedom allows you to focus on what truly matters, your goals, your passions, your purpose. You stop letting fear of judgment or rejection dictate your actions. Instead, you act from a place of self-assurance and clarity. Being true to yourself is the most powerful thing you can do, not just for your own happiness, but for the world around you. It inspires others to do the same. When you embrace who you are without apology, you give permission for others to do the same. And in that, you create a ripple effect of authenticity, confidence, and empowerment that extends far beyond you. Your truth is your superpower, and when you live it, you unlock your full potential. The journey to stop being the nice girl and embrace the real you is not an easy one, but it is an incredibly rewarding one. It's about making a conscious choice to prioritize yourself, your needs, and your boundaries without guilt. It's about recognizing that your value does not come from constantly giving to others or sacrificing your happiness for the sake of keeping the peace. Instead, your worth lies in your authenticity, your confidence, and your ability to stand strong in who you truly are. The moment you stop being the nice girl, everything changes, not only in how you view yourself, but also in how the world interacts with you. When you stop trying to please everyone, you start respecting your own time, energy, and boundaries. You learn that saying no is not an act of selfishness, but a necessity for preserving your peace and well-being. You realize that you are allowed to say no to what drains you and yes to what fuels you without feeling guilty. This shift opens the door to a life where you can finally take care of yourself, invest in what truly matters to you, and give energy to the things that bring you joy, purpose, and fulfillment. As you stop worrying about seeking external approval, you also unlock the confidence to believe in yourself. You realize that you don't need permission to live fully or make choices that align with your true desires. You don't need to wait for validation from others to feel worthy of success, love, or happiness. When you embrace your own worth and stop trying to earn the approval of those who will never truly understand you, you give yourself the freedom to thrive. The relationships you form from this place of authenticity are the ones that truly matter. The right people, those who genuinely love, respect, and appreciate you for who you are, will show up and support you. They will celebrate your boundaries, encourage your growth, and stand by you as you continue to evolve. But this shift also means letting go of relationships that drain you, those built on expectations or conditions that no longer serve you. When you start living authentically, you attract people who see the real you and appreciate you for it, rather than the version of you that was crafted to please others. And finally, as you begin to prioritize yourself and your needs, you unlock your true power. You stop playing small, stop shrinking yourself to fit into the expectations of others. Instead, you embrace your full potential. You step into your superpower, your authentic self, and realize that you are capable of achieving more than you ever imagined. When you show up as the real you, you gain the courage to take risks, make bold choices, and live a life that feels truly aligned with who you are. So let go of the pressure to always be the nice girl. Stop sacrificing your happiness for the sake of others. Step into your power, own your truth, and give yourself the permission to live fully. The world will not fall apart if you start prioritizing yourself, and in fact, it will open up in ways you never thought possible. The real you is your greatest asset, and when you embrace that, everything falls into place.